Hey guys, it's James and Sam here from CrossFit Bowmanville. Today we're going to go over some postnatal stuff. What we want to look at is just readiness for exercise, where Sam's at. Sam had Oakley 6 months ago. So what we're going to start with, we're going to do a test to see where she's at with her diastasis recti. So that's basically the separation that happens with the abdominals post-pregnancy. So we're going to get Sam to bend her legs, and then we're going to get her to landmark with her fingers sort of the midline of her abdominals. Now Sam, can you just do a little bit of a crunch and kind of feel that midline and look for that gap? Mm-hmm. About how many fingers are you there?
Probably about half a finger.
Okay, so Sam's about half a finger separation, which is really good. So she's basically gone back to a pretty normative state for that area. What happens with pregnancy is our rectus abdominis separate, and we've got a widening of the lineal alba, which is our connective tissue. So postnatal, what we want to see is that go back. And a lot of women, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that you can't exercise, but it is a consideration that we have to look at in terms of not making worse and giving it a chance to hopefully get better. 40% of women will have that, even if they've worked out a lot pre-pregnancy. So Sam was very active, so that's definitely contributed to her abdominal wall going back to where it should be. What we want to do though, we want to test, can Sam stabilize her back properly, her lumbar spine, which means is her TVA or her transverse abdominis working properly. So this is something I've done for about the past 20 years with women postnatal. It's a simple blood pressure cuff with an extender hose, which gives me some room to sort of see where we're at with my gauge. So we're going to set that to about 40 millimeters mercury, and then we're going to have Sam put about 20 millimeter mercury of additional pressure on it by activating her TVA, and then seeing if she can stabilize that position. Can you feel that, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get you to kind of flatten here and tighten. Okay, right there. So you're going to hold that. And now just slowly extend one leg out, keeping that pressure. Don't let it get greater or less. Good. And back in. And we're going to reset. Okay. Good. So now hold that pressure. Okay, slide the leg out. A little more pressure. Good. Awesome. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to advance the test because Sam was really good with that. So we're going to draw your knees up. Good, and I want you to reset again. Okay, and hold that pressure, and slowly extend the legs out. Keep it down, hold that pressure, hold that pressure. Great, and bring it back in. Awesome. And down. So we can see Sam was able to maintain a consistent pressure on the blood pressure cuff, which means that her TVA is firing properly, and we're not getting a lot of sort of flexion happening in the back. When things aren't working properly post-pregnancy, we can see women end up with issues like back pain, hip pain, and that can be the result of just not being stable in that area. So we want to make sure that we're managing that properly. And by doing this test, it allows me to then know how I want to program Sam's conditioning when she's doing either privates with us or if she's doing a class. I think one of the biggest mistakes we see is the way scaling happens postnatal. So for example, you know, if someone like Sam's a great athlete, she's used to doing toes to bar. Now if she had come in today and let's say she had a bit more separation than she has now, and I wanted to scale these movements, a lot of coaches I see, they go to, they regress things and they start doing things like crunches and sit-ups. In reality, those are probably some of the worst things you can do if somebody has that separation of that connective tissue, because especially if it's, let's say within the 3 months or 4 months post-pregnancy, if your relaxin levels, your hormone levels of relaxin are still high, your connective tissue is still prone to separation. So now you start doing things like crunches and sit-ups, you're activating your rectus abdominis muscles more. They're going to shorten and tighten, and what that's going to do, that's going to continue to pull that connective tissue further apart. So you really need to know what you're doing with your postnatal planning in order to make sure that